Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, December 23rd, 2016. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. During his speech in the Socialist Party's assembly, Prime Minister Rama seemed convinced that the coalition with the Socialist Movement for Integration will continue. Even though this coalition can be seen as undesirable, the Prime Minister declared it is a strategic coalition that has made the realization of many reforms possible. Our strategic aim, not desire, is to be together with the Socialist Movement for Integration in a coalition. Many can say we can go ahead alone. Many can be dissatisfied. But this is a strategic and has nothing to do with the behavior of certain people, declared the Prime Minister. Addressing the National Convention of the Socialist Party, Prime Minister Rama stated that the outcomes of the reforms have been impressive and that the government has managed to close the year with the solidarity package for the citizens. What we have achieved is the result of the reforms we have undertaken. The government can now afford a public sector pay raise. We added an extra $100 million to the state budget for next year to cover salary and pension increases. The statistics show a steady growth of consumption, and today we are able to end this year by expressing solidarity with pensioners in financial terms, Rama said, adding that the government successfully avoided a potential financial collapse by signing an agreement with the International Monetary Fund. At the end of his speech, the Prime Minister expressed his conviction that the coalition with the Socialist Movement for Integration will continue, even though the competition between the allies will continue. The former MP and Secretary of the Structural Reform in the Socialist Party, Kocho Kokedima, presented his irrevocable resignation from his post during the Socialist Party assembly, thereby not giving the Socialist Party the opportunity to dismiss him. After the resignation, the Socialist Party assembly made Kokedima's dismissal from his post of Secretary for Structural Reform of Migration official after the request of 158 members and with the votes of over 300 Socialist Party members. During his speech, Mr. Kokedima blamed the Prime Minister for dismissing several people for political reasons and vowed to continue with his political activity in the Socialist Party. The Assembly elected 2 vice chairmen, its secretary, and the chairman of the Financial Monitoring Council. Assembly Speaker Ilir Mehta organized a reception for journalists as a mark of appreciation for their work and cooperation. The Assembly Speaker declared that 2016 was generally a good year and wished for 2017 to become another positive year. Mr. Mehta puts the emphasis on the joint challenge of politicians and the media for the country's service. There are many challenges we are not mentioning now, but we all agree that higher standards are needed in politics, in Parliament, especially on Thursdays. But I think higher standards are also needed in media and communication. Let us all cooperate in order to increase the standards for our citizens and as the country deserves, declared the Assembly Speaker, who made a toast for the journalists and media owners. The Assembly Speaker also wished the Albanian citizens a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Democratic Party Chairman Lulzam Basha commented today on the gambling law, blaming the Prime Minister again for delaying the law's implementation. Yesterday, members of Parliament approved postponing the gambling law for 2 years, which incited the DP chairman to state that the gambling industry generates about $700 million and accused the Prime Minister of infiltrating the gambling businesses with his clients. The operation against gambling had only one goal: leave the gambling industry in the hands of Edi Rama and his clients. Now that he has control over the gambling businesses all around Albania, Edi Rama is no longer interested in closing gambling activity, declared the DP chairman, adding that the Prime Minister has used this scheme in all the sectors of government. These are deliberate schemes to take people's money and to give it to people who are close to the Prime Minister. The same thing is happening with concession for hospital laboratories, which is being given to one of Edi Rama's clients, said Mr. Basha. According to the DP chairman, the stealing of citizens' money can only come to an end by removing Edi Rama. During his stay in Turkey, the President of the Republic, Buyar Nishani, was awarded the title Honorable Doctor by the University of Istanbul. During his speech before the academics and students of the university, the President gave his condolences for the deaths caused by terrorist attacks in Istanbul, calling terrorism a big evil and stating that it can be fought if the countries are united. I want to express my condolences for the lives lost by terrorist attacks. We want to express our support in fighting the common enemy, terrorism. Terrorism does not make distinctions. Terrorism attacks freedom and peace. And for this reason, we must fight it all together, declared Nishani. The President of Albania also held a meeting with representatives of various Albanian associations located in Istanbul and other Turkish cities. Mr. Nishani shared his gratitude for the contribution these associations have given in preserving and promoting the best Albanian cultural and historic values in Turkey. The President considered the Albanian community in Turkey as one of the largest Albanian communities abroad and emphasized that all Albanian people are proud of this community's contribution to reviving Albania's economic and social situation. Also, President Nishani paid homage to the Albanian patriot Sami Fresheri, putting a wreath by his tomb. The amnesty law was adopted in yesterday's plenary session and is expected to be signed by the President, allowing the roughly 670 prisoners granted amnesty to leave their cells after January 15th. The opposition made claims that the amnesty bill was drafted by the Prime Minister, intending to liberate corrupt judges. The Minister of Justice responded to the opposition's accusations, saying, "If you think rejecting amnesty puts the government or the Prime Minister in difficulty, you are wrong," the Minister of Justice told the opposition members. After the opposition members abandoned yesterday's marathon plenary session, the amnesty law was approved with only majority member votes. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.